feeling scared, because life can be scary. Sometimes it's really difficult because in the aftermath of having a really exciting, really fun experience, very authentic experience, things like this can happen. You have a wave of emotion come over you, and you begin to think, what is all this joy and contentment and authenticity without the opposite end of the spectrum? Maybe it is because we think like this. I mean, people often think what comes after the good, and what's going to happen when the other shoe drops. At least this is how I think. I try not to, but I really struggle with it. And in this situation, I'm sitting here and I'm feeling things that I don't really want to feel. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, because after a certain level of positivity or a certain experience that feels really fun and touches you deeply, you become attached to it and you get scared because you don't want to lose it. And I'm not an expert, but I do know that one of the main principles of Buddhism is to let go of attachments, and let go of our desire to indulge in things, to have something, and to kind of live in excess and collect and collect and collect and consume and consume and consume, which is a great principle. But sometimes you wonder, what are you without these experiences? What are you without your ability to connect with one another and to attach yourself to things and people and places? Because when we let go, like right now, how I feel is like I'm floating through a river. And it's good that I am able to experience different things and move through life and have like a really unique experience, but sometimes it feels sad when everything feels like it leaves. And you wonder what you're left with at that point. But I don't know, a lot of this musing is really inspired by the fact that I have people in my life who I really care about romantically, and sometimes when you get hurt in love, once you begin opening up and once you begin living for the moment and being yourself, just expressing how it is that you feel without questioning it too much, it feels really nice. But then sometimes, depending on the circumstances, you start to overthink a little bit. At least I do. I start to overthink about what it would be like to lose people that feel like a lot to me, you know? And that's something no one really wants to think about, but sometimes it can feel that way. And I don't really know why all of this moodiness is coming on me. I think there's a lot of factors that are influencing it. Right now I'm looking for a job, and in the 21st century that's never felt more hellish than it could feel. You know, I've had some difficulty in the past, significant difficulty of finding work, looking for months on end, struggling because I don't really have the credentials to market myself, and you know, it's hard with so much competition out there. These days it hasn't been as long, and I've been a lot more relaxed about it, but at the same time I'm in that state of floating in the river, you know? There's nothing to ground me right now. I don't really know what's around the corner, which can be fun and it can be positive, especially if you've been stuck in what feels like a cycle of unhappiness and stagnancy. But it is weird how humans, like, they crave novelty and they crave exploration and fun new things that make them feel like they are getting to know themselves better and getting to know the world better. But based on my personal experience of consistently putting myself in those new situations where I keep on forcing myself to reinvent who it is that I am by moving from country to country or city to city, it becomes tiring because you kind of are not sure who you are after reinventing yourself so many times. But all in all, I like to think that things happen for a reason, and I like to think that there is a reason to my madness, and that some of this suffering isn't for nothing, and there's an actual meaning behind it, and it's teaching me to be more aware and understanding about life. But it's kind of crazy though, depending on how you look at it. I'm only 23. I'm in what many would say the first chapter of my life. I guess the first adult chapter of my life. And it's hard to think about what the future will bring. Not only because the world is literally falling apart and it's kind of burning, but just because, what does it mean to be a person, to age, and to discover humanity and your innate desires? Everyone has their own account of it, and everyone is very willing and happy to share those things, but each person has their own unique way of identifying with that stuff. Not everyone feels the same, not everyone believes the same. So yeah, all in all, this rambling is really just me to express myself. But if I have to send a message to someone who's watching this video, I want them to, first of all, always understand that it's great and important to ask for help. And not even just asking people to help you with something specific, but sometimes all we need is a little bit of support and encouragement from people that we care about. We just need a hug. We just need some words of affirmation, depending on what it is that you prefer. And as you can see here with my cat, sometimes we just need just a little bit of love from others, a little bit of softness that makes us more prepared to deal with the roughness of life and what it is that is holding us back at this moment. Earlier I was doing an entry in my personal journal, planner type thing. I have to choose an affirmation for each day. Cheesy, I know, but I do think this helps. I was looking through Pinterest to get some ideas on what to add because I didn't really have anything at the top of my head. And the one that I ended up choosing was the best things in life live on the other side of fear. Which is very true. But if you're someone like me, it is so easy to say, okay, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to have a good mindset about this, I'm going to just focus on the present. And then once you get to a moment that you're unfamiliar with, that feels unsafe, that feels concerning, you fall into those old patterns of thinking. You start worrying, you feel like you're not good enough, you feel like you made a mistake, you did something wrong, you put yourself in a vulnerable position. For me, I felt like that many times because I kind of have. I've done that a lot. But at the same time, I know that that statement inherently is true. Everything that I've done in my life that has been worthwhile has been born from a tough decision, and from a decision that scares me deeply. But what does it scare? It scares the inner parts of me that keep hanging on to the same old thing, and it scares the parts of me that are worried that I don't have what it is that I think that I have in terms of skills and the ability to cope with things. Because what it is that we go after in life, and what it is that we achieve is directly tied to our perception of how we view ourselves and the world. And I, for one, don't view those two things the best at certain times, just because of trauma, just because of personal attitudes and things. I try my best, and I'm working on it, and I've definitely made a lot of progress, but it's a work in progress, and I think that many of you would also agree. But the main statement of this video, which is supposed to be the first video that I'm posting here on YouTube, because I spoke with someone who's encouraging me and pushing me to stop using my ADHD as an excuse as to why I don't get started on things, and I'm not actually actively investing in my creative endeavors. I totally got lost. I was making one point about reaching out for help and saying it's important. Reach out for help, lean on others, find community, because people are really all we need, and they're how they make everything in life easier and more bearable. 2, there's always a duality to everything in life. Things may be hard now for you, but they're incredibly easy for someone else. There's a lot of factors that make that happen, but one thing that strongly influences that is how we see the world and what we believe is possible, first and foremost. So try to think a little bit about your mindset. Try to think a little bit about how it is that you might be holding yourself back. I really hate people who say that those certain analogies and blame people for their circumstances, but I think that there are some small ways in which we do affect our life, just in the choices that we decide to make because of those beliefs. So if you can, and if you're willing, then kind of take a look at those things and strive for a little bit better, and believe in yourself that change is possible, and that everyone is deserving of happiness and joy. Not everyone gets to experience those things, unfortunately, in the world. Some people definitely don't have as easy of a life as I've had, or as other people have had, for various reasons. But investing in yourself and making sure that you are feeling good is the first step for you to have a wonderful life and to be able to help others do the same. So I will end this rant here. I'll end this philosophical chat, and hopefully you'll see me again soon, because I would like to make videos. Okay, yeah, I desperately need to do that. My cat is biting on glass.